Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do an unboxing, show you how to set up, connect to your smartphone, map your house, and the first look on this Narwal Freo Z10 robot vacuum cleaner. I did buy this with my own money. I wasn't paid for this video. This will be my honest opinion. This cost me $1,100. Spoiler alert, it's pretty much like a Freo Z except one of the mop pads extends, but it does not have an internal water tank. So I love the Freo Z because the robot has an internal water tank where it can spray water on the mop pads. This does not have that, so we'll see. So unboxing this can be a little tricky because the robot is down here in there and you got to pull the docking station and the robot out together. So be careful, it is heavy. We've got the two side brushes, this, the cord, this is the down here for the cleaning station, and this also comes out, but this was already installed. So here is the tray where it's going to wash the mop pads. So that just goes in, and then this slides in there. This is what's going to help wash the mop pads like that. And then this just slides on the front here. That's like a ramp. Look around back, this cord is 3-prong. It's 58 inches long. We're going to plug it in. There is no power switch. Looks like you can plug it into 100 to 120 volts, 50 or 60 hertz. And it consumes 65 watts when it's drying, 450 watts when it's dust collecting. Now up top, we need to open this up. There's a piece of foam here. Take this tape off. There's a solution bottle in the clean water tank. So we need to take that. There's nothing in this is the clean water tank. Let's take a look inside. There is a little filter in there once in a while you will have to clean. Nothing else up in here. Dirty water tank. Open it up. There's a solution bottle. So let's get it out. Here's what the dirty water tank looks like. It's got a float. Click it. Put it back in place. Here's the solution bottle. We need to peel this tab off. That's like a vent. And then peel this tab off. This yellow cap stays on. It's going to pierce that right there. It's the lemon basil. Be careful, it will come out the top. Okay, so let's take this off. You pull it over here. And then it comes with a dust bag installed already, but you're simply going to install it. See, there's a little needle. Push it on. There. Dust bag, you'll have to change this about every 2 months. It's very simple, it just slides on like that. Does look like maybe you could add that hardwood floor accessory right there. Yeah, possibly. And that's it. Line up the pins. Put the bottom pins on first, then snap it. Like a little Narwal tag here. There are handles to lift it, close it. We got buttons and lights up here. Front to back, 16 inches. Left to right, 17. You do have to be able to open up the lid all the way, 30.5 inches, but the unit's only 18 inches tall. And again, this is where it's going to charge the robot. There is nothing to fill the robot up with water. It's just going to wash the mop pads with that water and detergent. And then it does blow hot air on them to dry them when it's done. The robot does have LiDAR navigation on top that's spinning underneath there. That'll help. And it's got a sensor on the front. Let's measure how tall. It's 4 5/16 tall. No tape on the LiDAR, but if we lift this up, there is this bumper pad to keep the bumper from going in. Then we got to put, there's a little thing to snap here down. Yeah. So again, it's got the bumper technology. It's got a sensor on the front, side sensor. Again, it doesn't fill the robot up. There's nothing to fill the robot up. There's where it charges it. Let's take that tape off. There is a power switch and a home switch. All right, let's take this off. Let's look at the dust bin. So this is where everything's gonna go. It is gonna auto empty everything in the dust bin right here. So it sucks everything out the bottom of the robot. And then this has got that little, so everything's gonna go in here. Once in a while you can replace this. There is a little filter, but you'll have to clean this filter once in a while. It is reusable about every couple weeks. And this just slides in. Make sure it clicks into place. Mop pads come installed. Now it is able to extend one of the mop pads when it's up against the wall. It can lift and raise them 12 millimeters. Now again, once in a while you will have to replace these. They're easy, you can just take them off. You can also put these in your laundry. Now these mop pads are really thick because in theory, the base station, when it washes them, it's gonna get them to a certain wetness level. So it's gonna have to hold quite a bit of water. It's gonna go mop your floor, and then after these kind of dry out and capture all the dirt, it's gotta go back to the base station, wash all the dirt off, and re-wet them. Because there's nothing, the robot does not keep them wet. There's nothing to spray down on top of them. We got the drive wheels. There's where it auto empties. Let's install these. These are specific, so we got to line those up. It should snap onto place. Yeah. Line them up. There. We do have a carpet sensor. These are fall-off sensors, those little glass windows you got to clean once in a while. These are anti-tangle side brushes, so they will come back, eventually come back like this, and then this brush roller will grab the long hairs off of them. Here's the floating brush wheel, so if long hairs wrap around this, it should go down to the end and get sucked in. That way it's not, there's nothing on the other end. This does work pretty good for long hairs. This is just a spinning wheel, and there's your drive wheels. Okay, fill the clean water tank up with clean water. The dirty water tank, spray some Listerine in it to help prevent odor. Listerine mouthwash, or these things, the dirty water tanks will stink. I do that every time I empty it. Now it does look like it has the same, you could probably add the same water filling system as the Freo Z. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just looking at it. Here I've got the auto water fill system, and it looks like the same connections. I have a whole video on how to hook that up to the Freo Z, which I do love, but I'm not sure about this with no water tank. All right, I've got the dock plugged in. Let's turn the robot on. Turn the power on, hit the robot power switch for about 4 seconds. You should see a light come on, and there should be a sound. Maybe a little bit longer. It's hard to see. Well, I do know docking it will turn it on. So it will turn on now. And I will be comparing it to the Pro. Okay, it played a tune by docking it. All right, I'm at the app. Let's go to the plus button. Z10, there it is. Yep. There's my, select your Wi-Fi. There's my password. 2.4 gigahertz only. Hit next. Scanning. Hopefully it'll find it. There, it found it. Good. I thought I was going to have to scan it with my camera, but I don't have to. I need to put my lid back on.
Network connected.
Agree. I wonder if we have an update. Let's put the lid on. Ow, store it. It's hard to see these lights. I don't see them. Says it's unable to connect. Start, well, I wonder if there's an update. But let's start mapping.
Mapping started.
Well, that was the easiest connection in the world. If I would have just docked it and tried powering it on, it would have been even easier. I'm sure there's going to be an update, but let's go ahead and map our house. It's going to randomly go around your house, open your doors, put your furniture where it normally is, and I'll come back when it's all mapped and we'll edit the map. Okay, that did not take very long at all. It was quick. It looks pretty accurate. No, it's not accurate. I'm sorry. Nope, it missed a room, but that's okay. Let's edit the map. Okay, let's split the room. I want to split this room. Yeah, it didn't partition this. There should be another room right here, but you could map it again, or it's fine. All right, we'll make the corner cleaning room. The other rooms, yeah, I did a good job with the red. I just missed one little room. But once I split this room, then it kind of figured it out. Now, one thing I don't like about narwhals, you can't divide a room that you, like, see, I made this divide right here, and I can't divide onto a divide. So that has been a frustration. You wouldn't think I have to divide on a thing that it says was a room. See, originally, no, can't even do it there. Where most robots dividing rooms are not that big a deal, but for some reason with narwhals it is. Okay, so I've split the rooms. You could merge rooms, you could rename them. Let's name this one the kitchen. And it's important to go through and name all the room. Furniture, I've never done the furniture. Later on I do that. Floor material is important because how much downward pressure it puts is based on the floor material. So if it's hardwood floor, it doesn't press down as hard. If it's tile floor, it does. I think marble it does. Titanium, I forget. Cobblestone, I think it does too. But let's go hardwood floor, and then you can set the direction with this little arrow here. That's important too. And that is the right direction. So if it was, I would press that button. There. Hardwood floor right there. You can go through and tell it where the carpet is. I like for it to figure the carpet out first. So have it do a couple full home cleanings, then you can go through and fine tune the carpet. No-go zones are going to be important. You can add these later. Let's add one now. I know back here in this room it's going to get stuck. My computer sits right here. And there's kind of some cables on the ground and stuff. So you can put a no vacuum, a no mop, or no vacuum and mop. So those will be very helpful. Heavily soiled rooms, that's interesting. So I could do, when a robot is recognized as heavily soiled, when a room is recognized as heavily soiled, the robot will start intensive cleaning to assure clean floors. I'm not going to do any right now. And then edit floor plan. So I guess I could edit the floor, or I can move the wall. That's interesting. Huh. It's just the outer boundaries you can move. All right, that's it for the floor editing. Let's go through the set. So the map has been edited, but you can always fine tune that. Let's go through the settings. There's the name, you can change the name, device under device, area unit, square feet, locate, restart, unpairing, divide, privacy settings. You already agreed to that. It doesn't have a camera. Let's go firmware. Okay, this is the first one I've ever unboxed. It has the latest version. Freo mine. Okay, this is going to be important on how much water you use. This thing will do, it'll do a bunch of remopping events if your floor is really dirty, which is a good thing. You want your floors clean, but it can use a lot of water. So AI, we'll leave it on AI. Heavy use detergent, you don't have it installed, but it does. I have a place for it. There's an extra place in there by the dust bag. Smart suction power. I'll just leave it on smart. The Narwhal, one thing it wants you to do, it just wants you to leave everything. It wants to figure everything out for you. Humidity level, that's how wet the mop is when it goes and mops your floors. Again, you can fine tune that or leave it in smart. Coverage, precision, smart, normal, meticulous. You know, again, they want you, the default is smart on everything almost. Clean. Wash mops by area every 860 feet, 10.8 or 108 or 129. Or you can do it by room. So say you don't want the bathroom water to be mixed with the kitchen water. You could do by room. Edge extend mop is there. It's on by default. It will extend the wiggle. I don't like the wiggle. The robot's constantly turning when it's up against the wall. It just wiggles it to, I don't like it. Okay, you can pick the house cleaning sequence. That's important. So if it starts at 7 in the morning and you work your way, say you're in your bedroom and you work your way to the kitchen, you could have it start in the kitchen and work its way to the bedroom, or it won't be bothering you. Very important. Intensive cleaning for granular waste. If granular waste is recognized during vacuuming, the robot will intelligently adapt the right strategy to optimize. I think it has a sensor when it's vacuuming. They kind of talk a little bit about it. Clean, yeah, we did clean. Now clean's gonna be important because it does not have an internal water tank. So the only way to get those mop pads wet is it has to return to the base station and wash them. General, stairless mode, no, you don't want that. That turns off the fall off sensors. Do not disturb, make sure you put that on. These things will start in the middle of the night. High altitude mode, I've never had to use that, but if you live like in Denver, turn that on. Child lock, family with pets. It's gonna boost suction around when you identify where the pet bed is. Base station, okay. Automatically add detergent, that's on. Auto dustbin bacteria control. So when turned on, the dust bag will be automatically air dried for bacteria inhibition after robot completes a clean. So it's gonna blow air into the dust bag. That's off by default. This is one thing that Narwal prides himself on. I'm surprised that's off. Dust bag health index, you're gonna see kind of what they think the health of that dust bag is. Dry and intensity, silent, strong, smart. Base station default cleaning mode, vacuum and mop. So when you press the button, I think is what happens. Yeah, pressing the start stop button on the base station. Smart temperature controlled for the mopping. Yeah, see, they want you to leave it in smart. Auto dust collection, smart. Dust collection mode, I'm surprised there's not a smart, but it's in strong. Base draining. I guess you can put water down there and drain the base. Map management, that's where you can do multi-floor mapping. You could select, create a new map. Manage accessories, this is where it's gonna tell you. So the base station disinfectant bag tells you it has 90 days. That little bin, I've washed those bins. I know they want you to replace that plastic bin, and it's got a bunch of hours on it. They think mold is gonna grow in there, and so they want you to throw it away. But I've always cleaned them. Dust bin filter. They want you to clean it every 2 weeks, but you're supposed to throw it away or replace it every so often. That's the silver ion mop, 150 hours. Brush roller, 300 hours. Cleaning tray, clean on a regular. Disinfectant, sensors. Surprised it doesn't give you it every 2 weeks. Sponge filters, I think those are in the dirty water tanks and clean water tank. Yeah, heavy, we don't have those. Language and voice, help, third-party control. This is where you add those. And that one's the easiest one to add. Okay, you're back to the home page now. You can go right to the base station. There's that dust bag health index. You can tell it to wash the mop, stop drying. Let's click vacuum and mop. Freo Mind is on by default. That's Freo's way of just doing everything. You can set it up. I've never had to set it up. Oh no, that's in the settings. So it's just automatically going to clean your house according to what it thinks. You can do vacuum then mop, which is important. That way it's not dragging the wet mop pad over your carpet. Vacuum only, mop. Interesting, the Freo is still on for those. I like that. And then you can customize. So if you go to this one, if you want to do your whole house, but if you turn that off, now it opens up. You can have it do 3 cycles, suction power, 4 levels. Mopping humidity, that's how wet the mop pads are going to get. It looks like there's a dog print by Low. Coverage precision, heavy detergent not installed. So you're probably going to leave Freo Mind on, but you can fine tune each one. And those are there here, right here too. Floor maintenance. Oh, it's a module. So we don't have that, it's extra. There's the schedule. Be sure and put this on a schedule. That's the best thing. Put it, at least it's gonna clean your house twice a week. A whole house cleaning once a week, and mop your floors once a week. Then you go to history. I don't have any history yet. So let's do a clean. Okay, let's do the corner testing cleaning. Vacuum and mop. I'll put it on the Freo. Actually, no. 2 times. Strong. Let's do normal. Coverage standard. All right, let's do it.
Vacuum and mop started.
So again, it's going to wash the mop pad, and that's going to set the wetness level, just like the Freo Pro. No internal water tank. All right, it's going to exit the dock. It washed the mop pad. It set the wetness level. All right, we've got a pretty big challenge. Fake dog poop, a cable, long hair, muddy paw prints. It's really going to be put to the test. Ooh, I would want it to stay a little farther away from that. That thing can really extend the mop pad. So it did recognize it. I just want it to stay a little farther away. It's like priding itself on how close it can get. I mean, you did get pretty close. Laying down some good water, but again, once those mop pads dry up, that's it. Here we go. Now at the end of the job, it's going to fold those side brushes, and we'll see if it gets everything off. Okay, we're going to monitor so it can turn those side brushes off when it thinks it needs to. And it does not recognize cables. All right, that's okay. Oh boy. So the hair isn't wrapped around a whole lot. Now, again, this is theory is has to capture the mud, go take it back to the mop to the base station and wash it off. And those are pretty wet. Not super wet though.
Task resumed.
It's got to position itself. So it went around the dog poop, but it didn't recognize it. You know, it wasn't able to get that corner perfectly clean. Now, don't get too worried about the smearing because this thing has a dirt detection sensor in the base station. So when it washes those mop pads, it's going to suck that water up into the dirty water tank, and it's going to see that that water's too dirty. Now, Narwal this is what they're known for. This is their game. They will come back and mop this floor up. I'm not sure how many times they'll mop it. I've seen them mop my floor at home 4 times. And it's the first time I walked over my floor that it was squeaky clean. Oh yeah, I told it to do it 2 passes. So it's doing the 2 passes with the same dirty mop pads. You know, this room was pretty dirty. It's got some work to do there. But again, it's going to go back and wash those mop pads. Just can't get the corner. So it is missing that dog poop. I just wish it would have... Oh, no, see? Nothing's 100%. Nothing. Nothing. I don't know why it thinks it has to get so close. Yeah, Narwhal does. See, it turns one of the side brushes off that's going to drag in the wet. So wherever it just mopped, it turns that side brush off. And then when it turns around, it'll do just the opposite. So yeah. You know, Narwhal has improved their cleaning pattern. I know that when I first reviewed Narwhals, their cleaning pattern was kind of weird. These seem to be going more in straight lines now. So it is mopping that muddy area again. It's definitely going to need a re-mopping event. Those mop pads are pretty dry and pretty full of mud by now. So again, it's a kind of a... You can't win if you turn the frequency way down, you use a lot of water. But it does a better job of cleaning your floors, so... This is where I do prefer the Narwal Freo Z. It can spray water. Mop pads that have water sprayed on top of them can last a little bit longer mopping. You know, this one's pretty well dried up. It didn't do much, and it's not really it's not leaving a wet mark where it is, so it's pretty well dried up. All right, it's gonna go back and wash the mop pads. I almost guarantee we'll get a remopping event. This just does not seem like that big of a step for Narwhal. Looks like the dock has been maybe redesigned a little bit. That does seem a little different. But this isn't a big stretch.
Self-cleaning started.
All right, it's going to wash the mop, and again, that water it sucks up from the mop pads, it's going to run through a sensor. And if it's too dirty, it'll tell the robot, go back and remop where you just came from. Yeah, and it didn't identify anything. Like, it went around that, but it didn't say there was an obstacle there, which Narwhal typically doesn't do that. That's right, I remember that now. So pretty much the Pro doesn't use hot water, where the Freo Z does use hot water, and you get the... You can do it has a solution tank and different things that you can add. So the Pro's kind of like a lower budget apartment level. Freo Z is probably the next step up, probably a small home. And no, I'm sorry, the Z10 is probably just a step up from the Pro. And the Freo Z, the one over there that I've already reviewed, it's for bigger homes. All right, I bet we get the remopping event. Yep, I look in the app, it says round 2 clean. So that's what that remopping event is. So it's gonna go back, again, that's the base station telling the robot to go back and clean. It normally would not have done that. And it'll do round 3, it'll do round 4. I mean, this thing can use a crazy amount of water. But again, it's the only one where I've ever walked into my home and the floors squeaked. So, man, it's a trade-off. I love the Narwal Freo Z over there. The best thing I ever did was hook up that water line to it. You know, this is what it needs because of how much water it uses. It's an excellent design. I have a video on how to add that water thing. It's a little complicated. And I should give you all the fittings for the drain lines and everything. There's a couple ways of doing it. You could hook it up to your laundry room. I have seen somebody do it to their kitchen sink. There's all kinds of different hookups for the drains and the water lines. But most people aren't going to do that. I mean, Freo Pro, small apartment, a little bit bigger apartment, or a little bit smaller home. And I'll show you. I mean, I'll pull the dirty water tank here in a second.
Self-cleaning executed. Task completed. Mop drying started.
What? Why did it not do round 2? There's the dirty water. What happened? Just when you think I mean, maybe I messed that up. I don't know. Sometimes it shows you the grime level. And I've got it on because I'm so proud of this feature. There's by room or whatever. Oh, it's probably because I'm not in Freo Mind. Oh, I hate that. Remopping limit. Probably only works in free. I don't like that. That if they have a feature, it should work in the. So by me not using the Freo, the smart thing, I think I messed it up. So I think I needed to be in this. So live and learn, but that does work. Whatever. A little Now the thing about Freos, they don't auto empty the dustbin until you start the new job. So let's go start in. I wanted to verify the long hairs were off of that. So it's not going to empty this dustbin until the next job starts. It's just how they do it. Yeah, no long hairs. That was a pretty big long hair test. My pads are a little warm, but not bad. Yeah, but it hasn't auto emptied yet, so that's standard. Okay, all right. See, it's going to dry that. It's going to blow hot air on the mop pad and in the dust bag in the robot. So let's just go here.
Dust collection will start soon.
So this was unboxing, first look. It's been a long day. I'm not feeling it right now. Sorry. You ever have one of those days? Oh, interesting. I'm going to show you something. But you ever have one of those days where just today was going pretty good, had a few interruptions, and just kind of things kind of went downhill from there. I do apologize. I bought this with my own money. I'll put a link to it in the show description notes. If you purchase it using my link, the product doesn't cost you anymore, but I get a small commission from the sale. It is a way of helping support my channels, and we all have days where we're just not feeling it. And for some reason, I'm just not feeling it. I'm sorry. But I got a treat for you. Hold on. I've got the Freo Z on a schedule, and it just started. Its cleaning. So I might show you that a little bit. It's got a better sensor. It's got a camera on the front. Let's go Freo Z Ultra. Let's go to, see, right now it's starting. Let's go to history. This thing's been like a cleaning machine. 119 times. Stain. So it found some stains. It gives you a play-by-play timeline. Yeah, sometimes it'll tell you when it goes back and cleans again. I mean, it's a play-by-play. There's where it talks about the soft downward pressure. That's downward pressure high, humidity level normal. So this thing's been a cleaning machine month. See, year. So there it is. Little treat for you. There's the. But again, onboard water tank. It can spray water. See, am I mistaken? I think I'm losing it today.
Task paused.
Does it not have an onboard water tank? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Have I lost my mind? Oh my gosh, I've lost my mind. It doesn't have an internal water tank. What am I thinking? I think the robots are officially running together. I've hit saturation.
Positioning. Please do not move the device.
I can't tell which ones. I used to be able to go by memory on all of these. I can't anymore. I apologize for that. I am sitting here. If you ever thought something was, you were right, and you see that you're wrong, and you're just like, man, I just knew that had an internal water tank, but it doesn't. Oh, I don't know. It's been long. I got to go. Leave in the comments what you think. I forget. These are all running together now. I got to go home. I got to take it's Friday. I got to take the weekend off. Thanks everybody. If you could, please like and subscribe, and we will be back Monday. I got some Roborock Q Revos that came in. So anyway, see you. Bye.